The food of Lebanon is a rich blend of various cultures that have called the country home over hundreds of years. Influences from Turkey and France have added a variety of cooking styles and ingredients that have made Lebanese food one of the most popular cuisines of the Middle East. Join us as we explore the cultural flavors of Lebanon. Lebanon is situated on the Mediterranean Sea, sharing its borders with Syria and Israel, and due to its location has experienced many political and cultural upheavals, helping shape its identity. The normal staples of rice and grains are complemented by fresh herbs and spices rather than sauces, and meat, most notably poultry and lamb, is generally used in local dishes.
Lebanese food is all about herbs. We focus on lots of green, parsley, mint, cucumber, radish, name it, all kinds of herbs. And we focus on lots of wheat and semolina and meat as well, and chicken. We are so fussy about olive oil, nearly with everything. And the olive oil, we drizzle it all around the dips. If you have baba ganoush or hummus, you always put olive oil. Lebanese food is actually, as the original, come from Lebanon. We didn't pick up our dishes from different countries like some countries.
Similar to several other Middle Eastern countries, drinks are rarely served without food, and an array of small dishes of differing flavors are often presented to guests, known as meze. Of course, there are many regions of Lebanon, and each has its own style of local cuisine and common local ingredients, all of which help make up the cultural flavors of Lebanon. Traditionally eaten by mountain folk, tabbouleh has become one of the most famous of all Lebanese dishes. Featuring parsley, mint, tomato, lemon juice and olive oil, this healthy salad is commonly eaten as part of a meze.
Meze is kind of all kind of dishes, nearly little bit from everything, from salad to dip to labneh. It will be, if somebody ran you and they coming for drink or dinner, the meze is always on the table. And you can eat it any time of the day, brunches, lunch or dinner. Meze, it's kind of show you it's welcome in Lebanon, kind of hospitality. Can be as an entree for people when they come over. And, or it can be as an entree before you have your main meal. Some people, they do put the main meal and the meze all together on the table and they sit down and gather together.
Tabbouleh is a delicious Middle Eastern salad or appetizer that can be eaten on its own, in pita bread or as a side dish. The main ingredient is fresh parsley, and you'll need about 3 generous bunches. Another core ingredient is bulgur, which is a cereal made from several different wheat species and can be found in most natural food stores. You'll need around half a cup of mint leaves. These will infuse your salad with their fresh, aromatic and sweet flavor. The other ingredients required include about 3 or 4 medium-sized tomatoes, 1 bunch of finely chopped spring onions or salad onions and 1 brown onion. In order to bind the ingredients of this salad together, you'll need the juice from a lemon along with half a cup of extra virgin olive oil. Of course, ground black pepper and sea salt seasonings are added to taste. If you wish, you can use the leaves from an iceberg lettuce to serve. The first job is to wash the bulgur in water. Place the cereal into a large mixing bowl and cover with cold water. Drain the water off by pouring the bulgur over a large sieve. Then, place the washed wheat back into the first bowl. We can now begin the process of preparing the salad. Pick some juicy red tomatoes and slice them like so. Then put the slices on their side and dice them. Once all your tomatoes have been diced, place them in the mixing bowl along with the bulgur. Next, take a few bunches of fresh parsley and place them on your chopping board. Carefully pick up each sprig of parsley and hold them by the stalk in the other hand. This is a quick and easy way to remove the stalks from the leafy part of the herbs. Place the bunch onto the board, then chop and remove the stalks. Now chop the leaves like so, while holding them in a tight bunch. Add your parsley to the mixing bowl. The mint is the next herb to be prepared. Remove the leaves from the stalks and place them in a small pile on your chopping board. Finely chop them and put them in the bowl. Now we can start adding our other ingredients. Finely dice your salad onion and then season with a little salt and pepper. Then, continue dicing the onion to ensure that the seasoning is mixed in well. Add this to the other ingredients. For the next step, slice 2 lemons in half and squeeze them out. Remove the pips with a knife and then pour the lemon juice over your salad mix. Finally, take a good quality virgin oil and drizzle about half a cup over everything.
Now we finished from the olive oil. What we have to do, just make sure we mix it with hand, go all over, let them bond all together, mix it with love. And the next step, it's the best step to do, try a little bit of it, see if we need more salt or pepper. And it's absolutely beautiful, doesn't need anything.
Your tabbouleh salad is now ready to serve. Take a large handful using both hands and place it into a serving dish. Garnished with a wedge of lemon, this versatile and very healthy salad can be eaten alongside any number of other dishes or accompaniments. But by far the simplest way is to roll some tabbouleh inside some lettuce. Coming up on Cultural Flavours, a versatile meat dish and the essentials of Lebanese cooking. Lebanon boasts a wonderful variety of foods and flavours thanks to the local climate and ample water supply delivered from the mountains. Common across the region are chickpeas. Used in all manner of dishes, the most famous chickpea dish is hummus, a dip or spread made from mashed chickpeas, tahini, which is a sesame seed paste, with olive oil, lemon juice and salt.
Food in Lebanon, we focus on lots of herbs, parsley, mint, and we do use lots of wheat and beans. And that's why we make lots of dips, hummus, baba ghanoush, and with the herbs we focus on the tabbouleh, lettuce, cucumber, radish, name it. And in Lebanon we don't have 3 main meals. We always have the meza. If people coming for drink or dinner, the meza it's always on the table.
The vegetables most often used in the region are a combination of indigenous and locally grown produce, and introduced foods from a long history of trade and upheaval. Eggplant, right across Central Asia and the Middle East, is a favourite in Lebanon, as is potatoes. Cucumbers, squash, onions, cauliflower and tomatoes all have a place in Lebanese cuisine. The flavours of Lebanese food are often subtle, with relatively light spicing and very little use of thick flavoured sauces. Typical flavours in the local cuisine are garlic, parsley, mint, thyme, turmeric, cinnamon, cloves, nutmeg, ginger and fenugreek. Cardamom is used very often in local dishes, and its distinct flavour can be discovered everywhere. Olives are a major part of Lebanese food culture. There are literally thousands of olive plantations throughout the country. Olives are eaten whole, but the oil is more common, and most households in Lebanon use olive oil like Western countries use butter. The great thing about the essential ingredients of Lebanese cooking is they are readily available nearly everywhere, and anyone can explore Lebanese cultural flavours no matter where you live. The Levant is a geographical region that includes the modern states of Lebanon, Syria, Jordan and Iraq. And kibbe is one of the most characteristic foods of Levantine cuisine.
The secret of the good kibbe, you will be using good meat. Try to use good minced meat, and we do use onion and herbs. And when you put the crushed wheat, make sure it's been soaked enough, because when the crushed wheat is soaked, and goes through the food processor, they bond beautifully together. And this is the secret. And you can have a kibbe, baked kibbe, or you can have them kibbe as a meatball and stuff with the stuffing, and we use it as an entree as well.
To prepare this nourishing dish at home, you'll need a variety of very common ingredients. The meal can be cooked using either beef or lamb. We're using ground minced beef. The other core ingredient is bulgur, or cracked wheat. You'll also need about 1/4 cup of pine nuts, or, if you prefer, walnuts are a good alternative. In addition to the core ingredients, you should also have 1 medium onion and about 1/4 cup of vegetable oil. The dish also calls for a selection of spices to give its distinctive flavour. The first important thing to do is to allow the crushed wheat to soak. Pour around 2½ cups of dark fine bulgur into a mixing bowl and cover with water. Put to one side for about 15 minutes. Heat about 1/3 cup of vegetable oil in a saucepan to a moderate temperature. Meanwhile, remove the outer layers of a medium-sized onion and finely chop before adding straight to the hot oil. Regularly stir until the onion begins to pale in colour. Next, pour about 1/4 cup of pine nuts in with the onion and stir. Now we can add the meat. Simply toss the meat in with the other ingredients and mix well until the beef has begun to brown. Season well with salt and pepper. You will need about 1/2 teaspoon of each. Then stir well until all the meat has browned. Before we begin with the stuffing, quickly drain off all the water from the cracked wheat. Take a large brown onion, remove its skin, and then dice into large chunks. Place these into a food processor and blend well. Tip the onion in with the washed bulgur, then add about 250 grams of coarse ground beef to the bowl. Now, to add a little seasoning and spice to the stuffing. First, scoop 1/2 a teaspoon each of cinnamon powder and allspice before grinding about 1 teaspoon of salt and 1/2 teaspoon of ground black pepper over the meat.
Now everything ready in the bowl. All we have to do now, mix it with the hand, make sure everything mixed together. If the kibbe a bit dry, all we have to add a little bit of cold water to make sure it's mixed together. And we take a little bit at the time, put it in the food processor for 1 minute, and we continue doing the processing, and the kibbe will be ready to finish it off in the baking dish.
Once you've ground the kibbe together in the blender, put it to one side. Fetch a low circular baking tray and line it with some olive oil. Then pour some water into a bowl. Grab a handful of kibbe stuffing and place it into the tray. Press it down with your fingers. A little water will stop the stuffing from sticking to them. Repeat this until you have completely covered the base of the tray, but be sure not to use more than half your stuffing. Now to add the filling from the saucepan we prepared earlier. Scoop the meat filling over the base layer of stuffing and ensure the layer covers the whole tray. Once this is done, you can place another layer of stuffing on top. Making little patties in your hand will help make this process much easier. Finally, wet your fingers in your water and firmly press down the top layer of the kibbe. To give your kibbe an authentic look, use a knife to score a diamond pattern through the layers of your dish. A liberal dash of olive oil will help prevent the kibbe from drying out in the oven, which should be preheated to 180 degrees. Bake for 20 to 30 minutes until the top is firm. Kibbe can be eaten in numerous ways as a snack or as a main meal. Hot or cold, this traditional meat dish is favoured throughout the Middle East. Next on Cultural Flavours, we discover how easy it is to bake the taste of Lebanon. Soufouf is a Lebanese cake-like dessert that is not too sweet and can be served with coffee, tea or milk. Those with large appetites will enjoy a serving of rice pudding on the side.
When I grew up, all I can remember the coffee after the dinner or any time of the day. When they put the coffee, has to be some sweet come with the coffee. And sometimes they put baklava, or they can make semolina made with the turmeric. And we do use the turmeric because I believe turmeric it's very good for our health. We don't use it on our main dishes like different countries. We do use it for sweet, and thus we make the turmeric cake, and we call it soufouf. And it's very light cake. And most people, they like to offer it because it's easy to be made from home. You don't have to go to the shop. And that's all. When you go have coffee in Lebanon, it's always some dessert with it. Namoura, semolina cake with yogurt, or soufouf.
There are 2 parts to this recipe. The first set of ingredients you will need in order to prepare your cake. The main ingredients are 2 cups of self-raising flour, 2 cups of fine semolina, and 2 1/4 cups of sugar. Sesame seeds are used as a topping. Tahini will be used to grease the baking tray. The last cake ingredients are milk and water. In order to make a Lebanese-style rice pudding, you'll need 1/2 cup of a short-grained rice, 6 tablespoons of sugar and cinnamon. You will need about 4 cups of milk, along with some rose water and orange blossom water. First, pour 2 cups of self-raising flour into a large mixing bowl. Then add the same amount of fine semolina powder. The next important ingredient is sugar, and this cake calls for about 2 1/4 cups. Don't forget to add a little baking powder. About 3 teaspoons will do. This will help the cake to rise. Next, add about 1 cup of vegetable oil. An unusual ingredient in this cake is turmeric, and we'll use about 2 tablespoons. This spice will give the cake its amazing color. Finally, pour 2 cups of milk over all the ingredients and, using a whisk, mix well. Keep stirring until all your mixture reaches this consistency. Now we need to grease a large rectangular baking tray. To give this cake an authentic Lebanese flavor, we're using a few tablespoons of tahini. Ensure that the base of the tray is completely covered and then drain away any excess. Pour the contents of the mixing bowl into the tray. Grab some sesame seeds and then liberally sprinkle them over the top of the cake mixture. Pop the cake into a preheated oven at 175 degrees for 30 to 40 minutes. Now we can begin to prepare our rice pudding. Pour half a cup of short grain rice into a large saucepan. Cover with water and give the rice a quick wash before draining off. Put the saucepan back on high heat and add about 1 1/2 cups of water. Cover the saucepan and allow to cook for roughly 20 minutes. It's now time to add some milk. About 4 cups will do. Add about 6 tablespoons of sugar and give the pudding a stir while it dissolves. Once this is done, you can use a hand blender to give the rice pudding a rich and smooth consistency. Give it another quick stir and then reduce the heat. Finally, add a drop of rose water and a splash of orange blossom water to give your rice pudding a truly authentic fragrance and flavor. Serve this cake with freshly brewed Lebanese-style coffee. To finish your rice pudding, sprinkle with a dusting of cinnamon powder. This dessert will be loved by young and old and would be a fitting end to any Lebanese banquet. The food of Lebanon is appreciated all over the world. Classics like tabbouleh have become standard dishes in other countries and are now incorporated into the local cuisine. With so many flavors in the world waiting to be discovered, isn't it time you treated your friends and family to a little Lebanese hospitality? Cultural Flavours continues to explore the world through the diversity of food. From Sudan to Japan, Thailand to Nepal, let Cultural Flavours take you on a gastronomic journey so you can experience the tastes of the globe at home.